Yo, what up, dogs? And welcome to the summary of week 13 of the Highway to Value Town project. I have my last week's results in front of me right now. As you can see, result wise, not too good actually. Down, 2,750 Norwegian crowns. We're able to place 359 bets, which was actually pretty good. I think half of that volume came this weekend as I was able to fund my Mr. Green and CoolBet account. So I'd been without those for a couple of weeks, and I was able to find a deposit method to get some funds in there, which obviously was great. I was also able to, for the first time since I think the very first 2 weeks of this project, I was able to pass 1,000 or 1K in closing EV. So a total of 1,348, which is actually pretty good. Considering my average closing EV per week has been around somewhere between 5 and 700, I think. So this was pretty good. But obviously, the project in total is not going that well. Starting with a 25,000 Norwegian crown bankroll, I'm down 11,000, and as you can see from my closing EV line, I'm actually the furthest away that I've probably ever been in the project. So you could say I'm not running very well, or this is normal variance. It probably is normal variance, but I did take some time or spend some time in the analytics package just to look at some stats, and I found a couple of interesting things, and I've decided to make some changes to my presets going forward. I thought I was going to not make any changes until I had completed 5,000 bets, and I'm at where am I right now? I'm at 3,621, right? So, but I am going to make some changes this week, or starting this week. The reason for that is I have a total of around 11,000 closing EV, and this is the main number. This is the most important number we're looking at. This is the one we'd like to maximize and optimize for. Ideally, at the same time, having as low variance as possible. So you want this number, the closing edge standard deviation, to be as low as possible, and this is the highest possible. And I've completed 3,000. What was it? 3,600. Yep, 3,600 bets, 11,000 EV, with a closing edge standard deviation of 6.2. Okay, so let's play around with some analytics here. So my current presets is 1.2 to 100. I've not had a maximum odds size. So I've bet on any odds range. And my edge has started from 1% to up to unlimited. And I've placed my bests 12 hours before. 12 hours or shorter time frame, obviously, before. And I've only played with recommended leagues. So this has been my current preset. Now, let's try to play with these. Let's set a max odds of 3 and an edge of at least, a minimum edge of at least 2. And let's see, and let's leave the 0 to 12 hours here and recommended leagues as is. And let's see what happens. So let's just look at the number of bets first of all. So with these new filters, I'm only betting I've only reached 1,081 bets. So let's see if we can do this. 1,080 divided by 3,600. So exactly 30%. So a third, a little bit less than a third of the volume. However, this number, 6,560 divided by 11,000 approximately, is 60%. So a third, or less than a third, say 30% of my bets have contributed to 60% of my closing EV. And I'm also in profit. And the closing edge standard deviation is lower than 6.2. So I've decided actually to add these new filters to my bets going forward, and hopefully that will reduce the variance from week to week, and I'll see more profits, that my results would be better. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm going for. The problem here, of course, the downside of this is that I'm placing a third or less than a third of my bets. So in the past sort of weeks, I guess I've averaged around 300 bets per week. So with these new filters, that means, and if I stick with only recommended leagues, that means I'll only be able to place approximately 100 bets per week. But I also found one other interesting thing that I have missed out on, I guess, and that is that the tennis bets are, for some reason, even the ATP 250 and higher tournaments are categorized as unrecommended leagues. I don't know why that is. So I have now created, let's minimize these. So I've created this tennis preset right here. It looks like this. These are the 4 bookies that I'm betting on at the moment. I've only selected tennis. I've had to make sure that this, if I click this, it will show 0 bets, right? It just, I don't know why that is. But I have to so I have to show all leagues in there, and then it will show the different tournaments. So here it will show both the challengers. So this is a challenger tournament, and it will show. Let's see, can we find any ATP? I saw an ATP. So we got a WTA tournament here, but there are some. I know there's an ATP tournament going on as well this week. Point being, I haven't placed a single tennis bet because I've only had the recommended leagues filter on. But if you want to play, I mean, I think the ATP tournament, especially the ATP 250 and higher tournaments, should not be categorized as a non-recommended league. I don't know. And I want to bet on them. So this is partly going to offset the fact that I'm only placing a third of the bets that I've been used to placing. So adding these tennis bets is definitely going to help a little bit on the volume side of things. So that's the changes for this week. God damn it, that plane was high. And yeah, and it did. So looking at my total results, I looked at Trademate's Alex Vela latest update from, I think, the last week. He had placed his graph, so he had placed around 4,007 or 800 bets or something like that. And when he was at 3,500 bets, so where I'm approximately at now, he was actually breaking his closing AV line. That was sort of his milestone. After 3,500 bets, he was breaking this line. I'm not even close. So this just goes to show what you can expect, you know, of variance with value betting with Trademate. I'm still a strong believer in the system and in the concept. I'm not even a believer. I know it works, but I guess my presets have not been the most optimal in order to reduce variance. So I'm making these changes now. I've also considered opening up for unrecommended leagues on soccer and all the other sports. I did make a post on the Facebook group that Trademate has, and asked if anyone had experienced going from only recommended leagues to adding unrecommended leagues on Bet365, Bets on Mr. Green, and CoolBet, and how that potentially affected them, if they got limited, and if they got limited, after how long. But I did not get a reply so far, and so I'll keep it safe and not add the unrecommended leagues except for tennis, and only bet on the ATP and WTA tournaments. I'll leave out the futures and challengers, of course. So I think I'll make an update next week, as I've done every single week. However, if the number of bets are extremely low, or not extremely low, or if it's less than, let's say, 75 bets per week, I think I'm going to continue doing these updates on a monthly basis and not on a weekly basis, which I think would make more sense. So anyway, I'll talk to you next week. Peace.